Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video. Today I thought that I would do another type of a tier list with you for all of the classes, but then it got me thinking, do tier lists really even matter inside of Diablo Immortal? Like, does it matter what class we choose? At all different times inside of the game, there are good classes to play and there are less desirable classes to play. We all know that right now, probably the Barbarian is, as far as like PvP goes, is the strongest class at this point in time. So if you're someone that wants to do PvP type play, the Barbarian is probably the best choice for you because the Barb is going to be the strongest in that gameplay mode. But honestly, I think we could scrap all that. I don't think it matters at this point in time. I think that we need to play Diablo Immortal with a class that we enjoy, with a play style that we enjoy. And I don't think we should just be watching a tier list video and saying, oh, which one should I go to? Which one is going to be the strongest right now? For one reason, that could change at any point in time. For the other reason, you could change your class at any point in time. If you're playing as a monk and you're doing PvP and not enjoying it, well, then you could the next week switch on over to a wizard and you could test that out. And really, I want to get away from everything being so serious and having the best build, the best gems, the best skills to use, and really more explore the game and enjoy it for everything that it offers. Not just the 6 gems that are the top S tier gems inside of the game, or the skills that are kind of the meta for the class inside of the game. Let's just play and have fun. With that being said, we'll go through all the classes and see kind of what they have to offer. For this is probably for players that have either been one class the entire time that the game's been out, which is, by the way, we're coming up on a year right now. Isn't that pretty crazy? The game's almost been out for a year. And then this is also going to be for players that are maybe just downloading the game for the first time. If you are, welcome. Consider subscribing to the channel because we put out Diablo Immortal videos and action RPG content here on the channel every single day. All right, so obviously the Barbarian. This is the class that I started with inside of the game, and it's the class that I am now reverted back to as of the past month. And I absolutely love the Barbarian. I think he is the best tank inside of the game. Great in PvP, but if I'm being real, I don't give a darn about PvP anymore. I have given up on PvP inside of Diablo Immortal. I don't think we're going to get a PvP mode that fits my style. So I'm going to just focus on PvE type experiences inside of the game, which, by the way, I think are done very well inside of the game. And I also think are not pay to win inside of the game. You could do all of the PvP. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me revert that. You could do all of the PvE inside of the game that you want to and really not spend any money. But when you want to do PvP and rank as some of the best, well, then that's when the big bucks are gonna come into play. So the Barbarian is great. If you like diving into battle, smashing things up, and really crushing your opponents up close and personal, there's no better choice than the Barbarian. He also is extremely fast. I'm running a very fast build with him right now, utilizing sprint and dash and getting tornadoes and fire behind me, and it's great for PvE. It really does a nice job just kind of taking down all these hordes of enemies really quickly and farming, and I absolutely love that portion of the game. Next we have the Wizard. The Wizard is the second class I had ever played inside of Diablo Immortal, and this is talking about global launch, because I've played the technical alpha, the closed alpha, and the beta as well. I have played all classes inside of the game extensively, but we're focusing more now on since the game has launched. The Wizard is great. A glass cannon, one would say. The Wizard can't take a lot of damage, but it can deal a ton of damage. The amount of area of effect damage done by the Wizard, and this is for PvE of course, is very, very good. Now my downfall that I had when I played the Wizard, and I played the Wizard for quite a few months, is you're very, I don't want to say you're slow, because you can teleport and your movement is all right, but when you're using a bunch of your skills, you're stationary. You can't move when using the Ray of Frost or the Beam of Light or whatever they're called. It keeps you stationary and you're trying to shoot it through your diamond and you really can't move. So mobility on the Wizard during combat is probably some of the worst inside of the game, but some of the damage dealt is some of the best inside of the game. So you have to think about, do you want to play as a ranged character? Because if you do, you only really have 3 options. And do you want to have something that has a ton of damage but really slows down your mobility? The Wizard also, though, very cool class. And by the way, spoiler alert, there is no bad class inside of Diablo Immortal. All the classes are very good and all the classes are very enjoyable to play. It really has to do with your gameplay style, what you like and what you want to be into at the time. And it's not ever a bad time to switch. I love the Barb, but I'm gonna get sick of it after a couple of months and I'll switch to something else. Maybe the Satyr, I don't know, but we'll have to see. Let's get into the next one, which is the Demon Hunter. Now the Demon Hunter is another class that is a ranged class inside of the game. And this one is one that goes from range, but has a lot more mobility. So when utilizing the Demon Hunter, you could drop that same amount of damage, but at that time, while you're dropping that damage, you can also move, and mobility is some of the best inside of the game. I'll have to say the Demon Hunter has the best mobility inside of the game for a ranged class. The only class that has better mobility would be the Monk, but the Monk is not a ranged class. So the Demon Hunter gets the A star, best plus. It's the best one that you could play as a ranged class inside of the game. Next up, we have the Monk, which is again the best class inside of the game for mobility. If you're looking to dive around, jump around, and have some fun, the Monk is going to be the best. Now, there was a time when the Monk was probably the strongest in PvP. Now is not that time. I do like the Monk class. It's one that I actually have not played since the game launched, but I did play it quite a bit in the alphas and betas. It's a very fun class. I call it the acrobat class inside of Diablo Immortal. It's the best one for jumping here and there and dealing a lot of damage, and also really doing a nice job in assisting your team when you're trying to do PvP related stuff. Monk is fun. If you're looking to just have a dive around kind of fun time, the Monk is for you. Then we have the Crusader, which is another one. This is the second class that I hadn't tried in the global launch. I did play the Crusader in alphas and betas, and this is going to be another very tanky, right behind the Barbarian. This is probably the second best tanky class. But the great thing about the Crusader is, one, you hop on your horse and you have a bunch of speed. You can get places quickly. I absolutely like that quite a bit. Also, he looks super cool. One of the best looking classes inside of the game when you're looking at the different skins, and with the big shield that he has, it really looks good when they kind of build stuff around him, skins and stuff like that, because of that huge shield. But also the ability for helping out the team. You know, Holy Banner, being able to give the team, your whole squad, buffs during battle. If you're a team player, like if you're someone that played World of Warcraft and you love to be the healer, you love to be the one that was assisting others and maybe not the one that was going out and being on the offense as much, well, obviously the Crusader is not a healer, but he does offer those kinds of effects that can benefit your team. So if that's how you want to play, plus you want to be a little bit tanky and fast, the Crusader is a good option. Let's be honest though, probably not the most popular class inside of the game. Neither is the Monk for that matter. I would say the Barbarian and the Necromancer are probably the two most popular classes. I did just revert from Necromancer to the Barbarian. So my order of playing the actual game when it launched was Barbarian, Wizard, Demon Hunter, Necromancer, back to Barbarian. Necromancer is great. If you want to just summon a bunch of dead stuff to go attack things and fight for you, the Necro is great. You can build some amazing summons builds, and I do miss playing as the Necromancer. If I want to play a ranged character, because the Necromancer can battle from afar, kind of like a wizard, but with less range, but more spawns up in front fighting for you, this is so much fun. You can get your golem, you can get your command skeletons, you can get your witch out there, and they can all be fighting for you, taking down mobs and mobs of enemies. It's very satisfying and very effective because, well, the Necromancer is the summoner. It creates things to fight for you, and you could drop a ton of damage so quickly just because of how many spawns or how many things you could summon are actually out there fighting for you. Not the best in PvP, who cares? Because PvP stinks inside of the game right now, but a very fun thing to play. If I had to share with you my two favorite classes, one would be the Necro, the other would be the Barb. And this is probably going to be the cycle that I go through. I do want to try out the Monk and the Crusader in the final game right now as we have it. But if I would just be bouncing back and forth. I would go from the Necromancer with my range and the Barbarian with my up close and personal fight. And I'd keep flopping back and forth because in my opinion, they are the most fun classes to play. I don't think tier lists matter inside of this. Will I make them in the future? Probably, because people want to see them. This was a very laid back, casual version of a tier list where I give you my thoughts on what's important and kind of highlighting what each of the classes has to offer for us as players inside of Diablo Immortal. By the way, those of you guys that watched my latest videos about how I lost my job and also about thanking you for being so supportive, you really got me thinking about creating other types of content here. I did not realize how much people were done with Diablo Immortal. It actually surprised me, even from people that are still playing it now. So I don't know, I know that we have another testing round, another beta of Diablo 4 coming out. I know that I'm gonna be a part of that. Maybe I'll do some live streams of that and see what kind of content we can do for that game. I appreciate all of you. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed the video or like hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.